Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ahlan wa sahlan, guys. Marhaban, welcome. Welcome to this video. My name is Yaqut Zaman. We are going to be doing Q&A today, as we normally do on Saturdays. And today my voice sounds a bit messed up today. I don't know. I think I've been shouting a bit too much. So hopefully my voice should get a bit better. So how's everyone been? I hope everyone's been well, enjoying the nice weather today. We had pleasant weather we had in the UK. And also I was actually meant to go bike riding today, but unfortunately my partner Maji has been ill, so make dua for Maji. And I'll give Abdul Majid Shifa. And besides that, as you guys know, normally on Saturdays I answer your questions, or I try to answer your questions. So today, inshallah, I will be attempting to answer your questions, hopefully. All right, so let's see on Curious Cat what kind of questions you guys have lined up today. Okay, so, and petrol is on. Petrol in the UK has been crazy rumors going around that petrol's finishing. And as you guys know, in the UK, we panic a lot and we start overbuying things that we don't need. Nasio Muhammad wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you please make dua for my younger sister? She is suddenly very ill and being afraid of COVID-19, but not sure yet. Please make dua, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give your sister Shifa Kamil and all those out there who have loved ones who are ill. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them all Shifa Kamil. Right, so let's start off with the questions then. So first of all, okay, let's see. All right. So questions for today are, or the ones I have, if I go back, we have. Okay, this is a question. Generally, is having a bank account or using credit card haram? So generally, it depends on what kind of bank account it is. So there's like multiple types of bank accounts. There's about 9 or more types of bank accounts that you can have in the UK. I don't know in other countries. The ones that are impermissible are the ones that give you interest. But because we're living in a country where a person has to have a bank account, so normally, the normal accounts that people have usually do incur interest. You can sometimes opt for a non-interest bank account. Sometimes you get that, sometimes they don't give you. So if that's the case, you should try to get one that does not incur interest. Otherwise, if they do give you interest, what you basically do is take out the interest after every so often, maybe once a year or whenever, and then give that to charity. And that's it. And the same thing goes with credit card as well. So credit card technically is permissible as long as you don't incur debt. So if you incur a debt, that debt is usually interest based, so that would not be allowed. Okay, next. Do you have any videos on Aid and Ism Usul al Mawsul? I'm confused when it is permissible to remove it. I do not have any videos on that, but I do have in my courses on my YouTube channel, on my website, uruk.com. I have a series, Sharh Qatar al-Nada, and in one of the series I've actually explained about this concept of the Aid. Yeah, in when it comes to a khabar. I've explained it over there, but I haven't explained the Mosul one in detail. The detailed one is in my other series called the Arabic Grammar. Yeah, so Arabic Grammar series. Okay, Salam, can you explain this hadith, please? Surely your Lord has nafahat, winds of mercy, in the days of your time, so expose yourself to them, for perhaps you will attain a breeze from them, and thereafter you will never be unhappy. So So this hadith, okay, so I have to look at the Arabic wording of this hadith. It depends what the Arabic word for unhappy is. So I think it's probably referring to shaqa. So basically, what the hadith is saying, that if Allah has mercy upon a person, if Allah truly has mercy upon a person, that person cannot be in a wretched state. Yeah, this is like you can say the benefits of experiencing Allah's mercy. And if Allah does not have mercy on a person, then that person is not going to be in a good state. A person will be in a wretched state. That's what it's basically trying to say. So perhaps you will attain a breeze from them, and thereafter you'll never be unhappy. So and I don't think the hadith is translated as unhappy. Rather, shaqa. Shaqa means like to be in a wretched state, a bad state, that you have a bad ending. So this is what we try and do as Muslims throughout our lives. We're always trying to seek Allah's mercy, even until we die. And we don't know when we're going to get it. Right? We don't know. So we might be able to feel, for example, in our lives, our health feels a bit better. And that is a type of mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there's different there's different layers of Allah's mercy. So you have like a mercy that Allah even gives to the kuffar as well. Those who even are bent on disbelief in Allah and curse Allah. Even they have some mercy from Allah as well. But the mercy that the hadith is most likely referring to is like in the Quran, when Allah mentions about mercy in itself, His special mercy, the Rahim mercy. That's something. If someone gets that, khalas, that person is has done it. That's the mercy that we want. So surely your Lord has nafahat wisdom in the days of your time. I don't know what the Arabic is. I'll have to look up what the Arabic of the hadith is to find out exactly. Let me try some. Salam, do you have the exact Arabic? Sometimes what tends to happen is someone might have a translation of a hadith which is of a particular version of the hadith. So there's various versions of hadith that we get. And if anyone is interested in the Usul Hadith course that I'm doing, you can still join. In fact, it's actually probably going to be finishing next week, hopefully. So next week my Usul Hadith course is going to be finishing, inshallah. I'm praying that it's going to finish next week, inshallah. So you can still join, inshallah, and benefit from the lessons. And a good thing about doing a structured course in something with a teacher is that you begin to understand how detailed subjects are. Otherwise, if a person hasn't done studied hadith or fiqh or Quran or aqidah or anything else in a structured manner, they've just watched some videos or they just listened to some articles or some speeches, then they're not going to really understand the full depth of it. That's the reality. So you have to try your best and get in there, like they say, and study from a teacher in a structured manner, and then you start to understand. Okay, what books are on your wish list? Oh, loads. I've got loads on my wish list. The problem is a lot of them are very expensive, and some of them are very hard to get hold of. And some of them are not in print. Sheikh Imran Hussein, Mufti Abdul Qawi, and Ghamidi. Should the lectures of all these three be avoided? Imran Hussein, totally avoid him. This guy is, I don't know, may Allah, guide the guy. The guy comes out with some very strange things. So I think totally avoid Imran Hussein. And I don't know who Mufti Abdul Qawi is. I don't know. I've never heard of him. Ghamidi, if you're talking about the same Ghamidi, the one that is from Pakistan, then he migrated and he went to, I think, Canada or somewhere. Yeah, totally avoid him as well, I would say. Because these kind of guys, the thing you have to remember is when you want to learn from a scholar, whenever you want to learn from any scholar, what you have to remember is, why do you want to learn from this scholar for? Your purpose is to understand the deen, isn't it? The reason why you guys come to me or you guys go to any other scholar is because you want to learn the deen. That's what you want to do. Now, general public, whenever they hear someone talking about the deen and they're very articulate and they reference Quran and Hadith and things a lot, and maybe on top of that they have like a following, generally people think that this guy is the one that we need to listen to, which is totally uh, wrong. That's not the measure that you use for scholars. Yeah, so this is the same criteria that people use to listen to film actors, to listen to famous celebrities, influencers. That's all you really need, really. So this is why you get a lot of these Muslim influencers who just come out with all this kind of rubbish. Yeah, when they talk about Islamic things, simply because they haven't studied in a structured way. It's like a non-doctor, someone who's not a doctor, coming out with medical advice for people. Um, you know, just because he's read a few articles here or he's sat with some doctors or stuff like that. So when you're looking for a scholar to listen to, always remember this. Always look for a scholar who is a reputable person in the community amongst other scholars. That's the safest. That's a safety net that is. So if you want to find out anyone, any scholars that you kind of generally know, as long as they are okay with this individual, I would say that's the safest bet. Don't risk your iman on one scholar, especially when he goes against what all of the other scholars are saying in a lot of things. Sometimes you get a scholar who goes against what scholars say in one or two things. But if it's a guy like Imran Hussein, he comes out with all sorts of rubbish. And then Ghamidi, he makes a lot of mistakes. He sounds very nice and eloquent, and he sounds as though he's very. But the reality is, people who don't have a very strong backing and understanding can try to rationalize things in their own way, and it kind of like coincides with the rationale of lots of people in the world today. And they think, oh, look, the guy's speaking sense, makes sense what he's saying, right? So you got to be careful. It's not just about does it make sense to you or not. It's about the guy who is. So if there's a guy and says, someone's got cancer, and someone who's not trained in medicine says, oh, you know what, this cancer can actually easily be removed by simply getting some rocks from your back garden, heating them up, putting on the cancer, and the cancer melts away. I mean, it sounds like, oh yeah, that's kind of sounds like makes sense, but you just got to be careful. Right, so is that all done? Okay, and next question. Oh, just a few more questions popped up here. All right, let's check out your questions over here then. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Zed, if a person takes income benefits and refuses to work when he is fully able to, is that income haram? No, as long as he's not lying or anything, no, it's not haram. Zahra, wa alaikum assalam, ahla wa sahlan. Long time no see, hope you're well. Masir Ali, wa alaikum assalam, mashallah. Amriki, kayfa hal? How was the Asufa charity ride? Charity ride is very nice. Yeah, and then later on, if you guys remind me, inshallah, I'll talk more about it, about the charity ride. But yeah, it's very, very, very enjoyable, and definitely I'm going to do it again, inshallah. Do you know how to interpret dreams? Only my own. Yeah, and when people ask me, can you interpret dreams? I can sometimes interpret dreams for people who are close to me, very, very close to me, like close family members, my siblings, or my parents. Those kind of people I can usually kind of almost interpret, maybe like 40% interpret, 50%, 60% interpret. I can interpret my own dreams usually a lot. The thing about interpretation is, let me tell you something. You need to know, from my own experience, you need to know the individual very, very well to be able to interpret, because the things that they see in their dream are not always universal, sort of like universal symbols, signs. Sometimes, two people might see a dream, different dream each. And the things that the one person sees are unique to that person's circumstances, and the things that the other person sees are unique to theirs. So you need to know that person. You need to know, for example, like their kind of habits, and you need to know what kind of character they have. You need to know what kind of things they've recently got up to. All of these kind of things, have an impact on interpretation of a dream. Yeah. So there's a lot of things to do. So that's why when people ask me, "Do you interpret dreams?" I just say, "I don't know how to interpret dreams." Mullah, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And I remember once I said to someone, yeah, I can interpret dreams. All of a sudden, this like one lady, she sent me like all these long dreams, like really long. Yeah, she emailed them to me, and I just looked at one of them, I answered one of them, and the others I just left them. So, I think some people just have loads of dreams and they're just looking for someone to throw them on. Abidin, wa alaikum assalam, ahla wa sahlan, welcome. Alia, wa alaikum assalam, says, will you be going through the whole Quran of tafsir, or is it just Surah Ali Imran? The whole Quran tafsir? You mean Surah Baqarah, you mean? At the moment, I'm not going through Ali Imran. But if you're referring to the Quran series, then inshallah the whole Quran I'll be going through, inshallah. The moment I'm on Surah Baqarah, I think it's about verse 118 or something. Amina, wa alaikum assalam, ahla wa sahlan, ahla wa sahlan. If I'm a student who's going to sit an exam and someone hacks the account of the uni admin and leaks the specimen paper, not the actual paper, would it be okay for me to look at it, knowing that the admin didn't want it to be leaked, but it's not the actual exam paper and everyone else will have access to it? I mean, see, this kind of thing boils down to trust. Yeah, trust. So if, for example, like, it's something which the people have found out about, the school knows about, and the exam paper has been leaked, I would say morally, I would see it as wrong. I would see it as something wrong, because I'm a teacher, and sometimes when an exam paper is written and it goes around and students, then I would obviously make a new paper for that. So I would find it morally wrong, but in itself, I don't think it would be. It depends exactly situation, but I don't think it would be something which is totally sort of like categorically sinful. Yeah, in and of itself. It all depends on situation, but morally, I think it would be wrong. Like, when I say morally wrong, I think it wouldn't be the from the character of a Muslim to do such a thing. Like the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man ghashana falaysa minna." Whoever cheats us is not really like a proper Muslim. Do you read English books or just mainly Arabic? Usually Arabic books, but sometimes English books. How should I deal with parents arguing with one another? I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, I'm not the best person to ask about this would be someone who does counseling. So I'm not really trained in that kind of thing. So if there's any sort of like anyone who's good at that kind of stuff, then please help brother out. S Khan, wa alaikum assalam to everyone. I hope you are well. Mufti Sahab, ahlan wa sahlan. S Khan, I'm very well, thank you very much. How are you? MM, while eating and also sometimes doing anything halal, a waswas comes to my mind that it's something kufr, but still I do it without avoiding the waswas. Have I done kufr? No, you haven't. Would it be okay? Okay, so Alhamdulillah, met Sheikh Hassan Ali today at the Istikhara Unlocked event. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. How was it? Was it good? How much can you push your body if it is not well to fulfill your daily obligations? So basically, what I would say is the gauge to use in our times would be if medically the doctors tell you shouldn't be doing this, then you shouldn't be doing it. Yeah, otherwise, you can do it. How can I reconcile intense regrets that I have, not sins, but rather lost opportunities based on one's mistakes? There's no real way. It's just not dwelling over it and making your life, your future, a better one. Yeah, I would say always that. I think a lot of people sometimes, if you think about it, I made loads of mistakes in my life and I've lost so many opportunities I could have taken. But Alhamdulillah, I believe in taqdeer, I believe in the qadr of Allah, and things happen for a reason. And I just think, you know what, right, from now on, I'm going to do good. I think that's the main thing that we need to think about. Is just leave the past and just carry on with the future. Thoughts on the Majlis South Africa? The Majlis, is what it is. It's a Majlis. That's what it is. It's just a group of people, I think. Stay away from it. Totally avoid it. It's just very, very harsh things that they say in there, and may Allah forgive them, and guide them. Mufti Sahib, do you have to sujood sahu if I read surah in the first 2 rakats and last rakat, but forgot to read it in the 3rd rakat of a 4 rakat sunnah? Yeah, you'll have to do sujood sahu, according to the Hanafis. Mufti Sahib, we know that the whole Muslim community boycotted the 3 Sahaba who missed the Tabuk. Was that because of the gravity of their sin, or is it something encouraged for sins committed in public. First of all, that boycotting was something that was a direct hukum from Allah, from the Prophet ﷺ. So that's why, that's the first reason why it was done. And what was the wisdom behind it? The wisdom behind it obviously seems to have been the stopping of people, you know, deterring people from ever trying to not go for battle. Yeah, so not going for battle. That was the main thing. So because the Sahaba all had to go for Tabuk, it was such a battle that literally, I mean, all the battles you can say the Sahaba's lives depend on it. But this one was really serious. 30,000 Sahaba went. And so that's why this was considered to be, Usra, Jaysh al-Usra it was called. So this is why the severity was so heavy. Yeah, but generally, if a person commits a public sin, it all depends on what kind of sin they've committed and to what extent. Yeah, you look at all these kind of factors. So with this, would it be permissible to call Sheikh Imran Hussain a deviant? And definitely deviant. He's definitely deviant. But to call him kufr, I haven't really kind of listened to the kind of stuff he says, and kufr is a big statement. It requires obviously a lot of sort of back and forth. And if he clearly has said certain things which are against the categorical statements in Islam, then yeah, it would be kufr. But yeah, deviant definitely. But then there are lots of statements of, from shuyukh that if you see your brother immersed in a sin, help. And yeah, so I answered that one. Because he has views of different scholars, why do people call him misguided? No, nobody should judge him like that. How does that make them any good if they are calling him a deviant and a kafir? Okay. Yeah, so see the kind of things he says. I mean, I've heard a clip where he said Sahaba made mistake in a recitation of the Quran, and this recitation that's reached us is the wrong recitation. Now, if that's true, what he meant by that to me that just seems kufr. Yeah, rejecting a categorical mutawatir verse of the Quran or a recitation of it. That is something which is boundary kufr kind of statements. Assalamu alaikum, Umar Sheikh. Ahla wa sahlan, Umar. Long time no see. Is there a reliable website to interpret dreams? No reliable website. I meant Surah Baqarah, not Ali Imran. No problem. Ahla wa sahlan, Valerie. Munnat. I can't say that name. Munna. I just called you Munna. Munna, alaikum salam. What new courses are you planning to launch? At the moment, I haven't really kind of thought of any at the moment. I'm doing at the moment Usul Hadith currently. But I haven't really kind of... I'm thinking maybe I might, after I finish the Usul Hadith, I might start after Fajr lessons of basic fiqh. Yeah, so basic fiqh, what I mean by that is the chapters of Buyu, Nikah, all those chapters. Yeah, so I'm thinking about maybe doing that, but they're going to be like after Fajr lessons. Also, are you considering having a subscription-based service for roots and knowledge? I'm thinking of that. I was supposed to have a website supposed to be made, but at the moment it's just been hanging there. So if I do, maybe I might start some subscription kind of thing. But generally, I want to make all the videos on my YouTube channel free of charge. That's what I want to do. So inshallah, that's the aim of producing the videos, and just so those who want to support the channel, alhamdulillah, can support the channel. And patrons, mashallah, doing such an amazing job. Listen to a nasheed, because the nasheed singer always sings without music. So I listened to one of his songs without checking if it's contained music and thought it was halal, then came out halal. Was it kufr? No, it wasn't kufr. Is there any hifz course at Sufa, and is it enrollment all year round? I don't think there is any hifz course for adults at the moment. I don't think there's any hifz course. There's for children. There is. What's the difference between Masala and Fatwa? Masala, all fatwas are masalas. So Masala basically means a question. Yeah, a question that a person has. And Fatwa and Masala are the same thing. Jazakallah khair. Ameen, ameen for your beautiful du'as. May Allah bless you. Ameen, ameen. May Allah bless you immensely in this dunya and akhirah as well, Abdullah. With this, when we are menstruating, can we listen to Surah Kahf? Yes. Menstruating woman can listen to Surah Kahf, and can also read it without obviously uttering the words. So she can read it in her mind. Jazakallah khair. Ginger head. Mufti Sahib, where did you study and what are your qualifications and which sect are you? So I studied in Pakistan, in Karachi, and I studied for 9 years. I specialized in Hanafi fiqh. So I've studied Arabic grammar, I've studied Balagha, I've studied Usul fiqh, I've studied Usul hadith, I've studied the 6 books of hadith, I've studied tafsir, I've studied Aqidah, I've studied, so I've studied quite a lot of things. Which qualifications, which sect are you? I belong to Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. What's your opinion on Miftahul Wusul ila Takhrij? Yeah, it's a good book. Definitely a good book. It's a good book for someone who wants to try and understand like difference between Shafi madhab and Hanafi madhab of how like one masla is taken. Salam did alaikum assalam ahlan wa sahlan hasib. What's your tariqah? My tariq, I don't have any like tasawwuf tariqah, but also can you tell me your sanad? My sanad, I mean I don't have any tasawwuf tariqah, but my sanad in ilm is a normal Indian subcontinent sanad which goes through Shah Walillah Dehlavi rahimahullah. I started studying it. I found it beneficial even though the author was a Maliki, but I got to learn some of the usul of other madhabs. Okay. I think you're talking about a different one then. Yeah, so there's another Takhrij al-Furu' ala al-Usul by Shafi'i. Musab, do you interpret dreams? No, I don't interpret dreams. Could you give me an example of what Imran Hussain says that's incorrect? A lot of scholars who we talk highly of today went against the ijma of the... Yeah, so basically, like I just said to you, he mentions about, like, he says, I think someone had a clip on Twitter. He says basically that Muslims should not attempt to try and make Christians into... You should not invite Christians to Islam. This is wrong. You should leave them as they are. And so that's obviously, a bit extreme. And the other one which I said, which was the one that like he's made very big mistakes in the Quran. He, for example, said that what did he say? He said that the sa'a, like he totally mistranslated like serious words in the Quran, and he was like adamant that this means this sa'a. He translated the word sa'atun as meaning sa'a in Arabic, and he also said that a recitation of the Quran was wrong. That Muslims from the day of Sahaba have made a big error in one of the recitations of the Quran. So you need to check that out. That's the thing. My advice is he comes out with very sort of like very mystic, cryptic kind of statements and things from day one when I heard him, and he was quite novel, but he was saying all these kind of strange things. Yeah, so there are people now who are collecting all the things that he's saying, right? And they're probably going to publish a lot of the stuff because now he's kind of like coming out with really strange things now. Can I have a shout out, please? Animator. Okay, I don't know who you are, but shout out, guys. Animator Arts. When you can do takfir of others, don't worry, I'm not trying to start. Yeah, so you have to do takfir, you have to have lots of information about what the person has said, basically. You can't just like one statement to do takfir. Mufti Sahib, in your course on Mullah Ali Qari's 40 lessons, Quran 1, there's a hadith that says that if we get 1,000 reward for reciting the Quran from memory, we get double the reward for reciting. Reciting from Mus'haf. Yeah, so I did mention about that hadith, about the authenticity of the hadith as well. I mentioned it in there. Yeah, so check that. If you watch that video, I mentioned in there about the authenticity of the hadith problematic. Okay, can I have a channel? Ustad, okay, I need to hide this guy. All right. So, are you able to recite the Alaikum Assalam wa Rahmatullah PM, or MP rather, PM Prime Minister? Ustad, don't mean to controversial, just want to know about the ulama who are saying the vaccine is halal. Can you please clarify how is it halal? I mean, the way they say it's halal is basically the way they say taking paracetamol is halal, the way they're taking the flu jab is halal. So basically, the ulama say everything by default is halal unless proven haram. You have to prove something is haram. Yeah. So what you have to do is you have to ask those scholars who say the vaccine is not allowed. You have to ask them, why is it not allowed? Like if you say to me, why is apple halal? That's not the right question. What you have to ask is, if someone says apples are haram, you have to ask them, why is it haram? So the default, according to all the four madhabs, is that everything that Allah has created is by default halal, unless proven otherwise. Alaikum salam. Masir, are you able to recite Quran and Qalun and Nafin? No, I'm not a Qari of riwayat. I'm not a Qari even. I'm just a normal guy, man. Will you be giving khutbah next week at Sofa? No, I gave it this week. Next week, I have it at Saddam Mosque. Can I listen to Sheikh Asim al-Hakim? I've asked people who know him very well, and they say to me, people in Saudi, and they say to me, you should avoid him. He's not a scholar. He's basically someone who's done like a degree or something, like a few years in something, and he doesn't really have the full qualifications to give fatwa. And this is from people I've asked who are in Saudi Arabia, and they've said like a lot of like well-known scholars there don't like him answering questions. Okay, valid. Do I have to cover my head when studying Tajweed? I've been doing it for a while, but well, what is the ruling? So, for women covering their head is not a necessity when it comes to. It's not necessary when it comes to reciting the Quran. So, women covering their head is for going out in public in front of other men and praying salat. Those are the two times, but not for reciting Quran. Okay, so in that clip he says, so I haven't watched the whole thing. That's why I said to you, I don't use the word kufr on him, but definitely deviant, because he said that the innahu la ilmun lisaati. Yeah. No, and there is a qira'ah of alam, there is a very strong qira'ah of innahu la alamun lisaati. Yeah, there's a qira'ah, both are mutawatir. So safe, check it out. Trust me, ask other scholars about it. Like ask scholars who are experts in tafsir, and take that clip and show it to them and see what they say. I'm not just saying it for myself. Ask expert scholars. So like, if you don't trust what I say, that's fine, I understand. But what you need to do is you need to ask people who you trust, scholars who you trust, who are well known in the circles, about what he says. How to be your student? Don't want to be my student, man. Be some other student. As a real, I've asked Allah to guide me, and I just want the truth, and Allah is guiding me to the Salafis. It's a long but incredible story, though I also like listening to other madhabs. Alhamdulillah. Is Fiqh al-Akbar authenticity Abu Hanifa's? Yes. You, after Usul Hadith class, we should do a class on Ihya. Ihya is too big. Yeah, it's going to take ages to go through. From what I understand, a Mufti is someone who studies further fiqh, does research and writes fatwas, and continues this for many years. Excellent. Definitely. That deserves to be on the screen. When you read verses of the Quran, why is it that every end of every letter, the vowel of the Kasra is pronounced? I've heard people read the Quran without pronouncing the end of the vowel of the letter. Yeah, so basically, the Quran's recitation, like the method of recitation, is something that is a tradition that's been passed down all the way from the time of our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So that preservation of exactly how it was recited, even the endings of the verses, has been preserved. So the way he used to end the verse was he would end it in a silent way. So for example, like if it was like kitabun, he would say kitab. He wouldn't pronounce the last vowel. So this is like a you can say a way of reading which is in passed down. But otherwise, when we read other books, we don't read it like this. When we read other Arabic books, we don't read it like this. So these scholars that do a 1-year iftar course, and they are given They're given the title Mufti. Isn't that misleading? Of course, definitely, 100%. Do they just write fatwas based on that 1 year of study, or they're further? Usually, they have further. A lot of places like in basically, let me tell you this. In most Mufti sort of like circles, courses in around the world, they don't call someone a Mufti after 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. They don't. In Mufti Taqi Usmani's madrasa, there's only 2 official Muftis in the whole madrasa. Everyone else is considered to be a learning Mufti. They actually call them takhassus fil fiqh. General public, they are the ones that cause all the problems. They label a scholar as a Mufti, and then once general public just gives someone a label, you can't get it off. Yeah, that's the reality of it. So my teachers have never ever called me a Mufti. I've qualified from the iftar course, but never have I been called Mufti by any of my teachers. So therefore, they've allowed me, given me ijazah to be able to answer people's questions. But to be given the title Mufti means that you can answer questions of things that have not are unprecedented. Yeah, that's what it is basically. So this is why you have to be very careful, in using this term. Now, the term Mufti now simply means someone who answers people's questions, right? Which is kind of like so. So it's kind of changed from originally. Yeah. So like fatwas can be straightforward, like how many rakats are there in Zohar? 4 rakats. That's a fatwa. That's literally a fatwa. Something like, if I do my wudu, do I have to wipe my head? Fatwa answer, yes, you have to wipe your head. That's a fatwa that is. So there's different degrees of fatwa. So the very high level of fatwa in questions which have the Muslims in the past don't seem to have like an answer for in the past. It's a new thing. That's what you need the high caliber mufti for. Like you won't call them the super muftis of the world. Super muftis are very few in the world. Okay, because we don't know what is in the vaccine, so it's doubtful. So what I would suggest is there are some scholars who are actually like if you check out who was it? Forgot the name. That Islamic portal. It's called Islamic portal. If you go and find Islamic portal in there, they've actually done research. They've asked medical doctors to tell them what's in the vaccines, and based on that research, they've answered the questions. Yeah. Also, it carries the COVID sickness, so isn't it bad? No. So basically, as a cure, if the doctors know that something is going to really help you, then that's fine. Yeah, that's fine to use. Yeah, even though you're injecting someone with an illness, because that illness is going to help them create antibodies. Ali brings wa alaikum assalam, ahlan wa sahlan. Background is very nice. Inshallah, at the end, I'll try to give like a nice little summary of how it went. Can I study the science with 2 intentions? Earn halal, defending Islam, of course. After coming back to Islam, I got epilepsy. Is it a means to enter Jannah? May Allah give you sabr on that, and may Allah make you a means to enter Jannah. Ameen. How do Hanafis treat rare recitation, shadh? Are these considered Quran or khabar? They're treated as khabars, yeah. What about the preservation of the Quran when there might be extra words in some recitations? So they treat them as like khabar wahid. Yeah, like khabar wahid. Sheikh, I would love to do what you are doing in the future, but I'm scared I would mislead people by accident. So yeah, then don't do it, bro. So what you need to do is you need to study for many years, teach as well, and then once you gain the confidence that and ask your teachers, is it okay for me to answer people's questions? If they allow you, then do it. Can you explain more about the Masala of Fiqh al-Akbar being attributed to Abu Hanifa? So I haven't really done too much research into this, but I've got friends that have done research into this. What you can do is actually, if you go to Ilmgate website, in there they've got an article written on this issue. Yeah, Ilmgate, and they've got an article written on this whole thorough investigation they've done. And because it's all to do with the manuscripts, some of the manuscripts seem to indicate it was not Abu Hanifa that wrote it; it was actually one of his students that wrote it. But in reality, it was actually his. So there's two kind of what they call fiqh al-akbars. One's called fiqh al-absat, one's called akbar. And Sheikh Zahid al-Kawthari also has written something on it as well in the muqaddimah. So if you get muqaddimat of Zahid al-Kawthari, you'll find it there. What's your view on Mufti Tariq Masood? I don't really listen to him too much. He's a funny guy. Some people send me like clips of his. Sometimes he says some funny things. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How did you afford that lavish house you were pictured in on Twitter, your Mutala cave? That's it, man. That's what happens, you know. ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِي مَن يَشَاءُ. When does a student become worthy of being able to answer questions? When does the student become a teacher? When the teacher allows him, basically. Yeah, it all boils down to is the teacher happy with them? That's when it is. Imam Malik said, I did not start issuing fatwas until my teachers said to me that they're happy with me. What kind of palm tree do you have? I don't have any palm trees. Yeah, I don't think palm trees grow in this country very well. Is it wajib to recite surahs in third and fourth rakat of a sunnah prayer? Yes, according to Hanafis. Is watching movies haram? I heard it's haram because pre-mixing and the scenes in the movies, but what if I watch movies that does not have haram? If it doesn't have haram in there, then it's fine. If I do the 6 years at Sufa Alim course, could I be an imam after that? Of course. Yes, you can. Does iman increase? Yes, it does. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Tayyib. Ahlan wa sahlan. Alaikum assalam, Maji. Hope you're feeling better. I said to everyone to make dua for you. Yeah, so guys, make dua for Maji. Maji is under the weather. He's recovering. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. Is watching boxing okay or not? I would say best to avoid it. Especially when they're showing like the aura, the legs and things like that. Is a Sufa part of the Deobandi silsila? I mean, it depends what you mean by Deobandi silsila. There's nothing of Deobandi taught in a Sufa. But if you mean by are most of the teachers graduates of madrasas that are graduates of madrasas that affiliate to Deoband, of course, yeah. Most of the teachers are. Next, Amina. I remember Mufti Mangera has also discussed the issue of Fiqh al-Akbar in his book. Yeah, that's a good place to read it. You're welcome. Can we say Allah is above the arsh? Your questions are random questions you have, man. Alhamdulillah, feeling better. Jazakallah khair till duas. Ameen. What's your background? So basically, I've done 2 years MMA. Yeah, I've done about 4 years badminton. And I've done about like 1 year cycling. What is the ruling on watching football? I wouldn't have a problem with it. I know maybe some scholars will, but I wouldn't have an issue. Okay, some curious cat questions. May Allah reward you immensely for your YouTube channel. I have greatly benefited your question answers, videos, and your 40 hadith. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. Kind, beautiful words. Thank you very much. May Allah reward you as well. If I have a plaster on, is my ghusl and wuzu counted if the water does not touch the area of the skin covered plaster? It will be fine because it's a medical reason, so it's exempted. The Quran mentions يُطَافُ عَلَيْهِمْ بِكَأْسٍ مِّن مَّعِينٍ بَيْضَاءٍ لَذَّةٍ لِلشَّارِبِينَ لَا فِيهَا غَوْلٌ وَلَا هُمْ عَنْهَا يُنزِفُونَ. And elsewhere in the Quran says لَا يُصَدَّعُونَ عَنْهَا وَلَا يُنزِفُونَ. The verse are talking about drinking Jannah which does not cause intoxication. A non-Muslim commentator explained that the Quran simply states believers will drink a liquid from a cup which is white in color and which does not cause intoxication, meaning that the drink is arguably milk. The non-Muslim commentator adds that after all, the Quran does mention the fact that believers will be given rivers of milk. Is there any scope for this acceptance? No, it's not. Yeah. So khamr. So in the Quran, khamr is mentioned. Yeah, ladhatan lisharibin. Yeah, that's what he's missing out. So in fact, let me just read this verse to you. The thing is, my advice to people would be, please do not listen to Islamophobes. Yeah, because first of all, they do not want you to benefit from Islam at all. Yeah, that's the sad reality of. Okay, so look at this. Yeah, so this is in the Quran where Allah mentions about the لبن لم يتغير طعمه وأنهار من خمر لذة للشاربين. Yeah, so in Jannah there's going to be anhar of khamar ladhatan lisharibin. Yeah, so now over here in the verse that you're mentioning over here, yeah, he says, let me just bring this up. What's the verse? Yeah, so look, the same word that Allah uses for khamr, khamran ladhatan lisharibin. Yeah, and over here it says bayda ladhatan lisharibin. So Allah doesn't use the word ladhatan lisharibin for the milk. He doesn't say that for the milk. Yeah, but He says it for this. Yeah, so ladhatan bayda ladhatan lisharibin. Yeah, so يطاف عليهم بكأس من معين بيضاء لذة للشاربين لا فيها غول. Now, the Arabs, if you know the Arabic language, you 100% know that whenever the Arabs mention alcohol, they always talk about the alcohol harming your mind or causing some sort of like headache. They talk about that. No one ever talks about milk causing that. So it doesn't make sense. Why would the Quran say milk doesn't give you a headache when milk in the dunya never gave you a headache anyway? So see, these kind of like non-Muslim guys who talk about Islam, please stay away from these guys, man. Trust me, for your safety of your own iman. I know it's kind of tempting to kind of watch what they're going to say about Islam, especially when they put up, clickbait titles. But that's why the Prophet ﷺ, he told some Sahaba not to read like the books of the Jews and Christians. Like some of them he allowed them, but others he didn't allow because they say that you don't know what they're going to say. You don't know what kind of statements they're going to make that might create doubts in your mind. Do you read non-fiction books in English? Sometimes, yeah. I was actually writing a novel on non-fiction Muslim on Mars, but then I stopped. Just got too busy with making videos for you guys. During congregational salah in the Haramain, the muazzin loudly says Allahu Akbar after the Imam says Allahu Akbar, and Rabbana lakal hamd after the Imam says Sami Allahu. What's the reason for this? So the reason for this was in the olden days, they never had mics. So for the sound of the Imam to be projected to the other people, they used to have multiple individuals that would basically, they were called mukabbirs or muballighs, and they would, like, every time the Imam would make a posture, they would say Allahu Akbar or the relevant statement, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, so the people at the back could hear. And when the microphone system came, they didn't stop this, so they carried on this tradition, because sometimes what might happen is the recitation of the Imam might be quite low, so people need to hear, so that's why they have this. And they can have in other mosques as well. Some other mosques have it as well. But because the numbers of people that gather in the Haramain is like literally loads, yeah, there's no other mosque in the world that probably has the same number of congregates so often. Do you know any Islamic scholars who are well read in the Bible? Mufti Taqi Usmani's actually got a book on the Quran and the Bible and science. So he knows about the Bible. There's at the moment there is, if you look on what's it called, that Da'wah something, is it EDF? What's it called? The brothers that go to online, they have this, is it called EDF, Da'wah something, and they usually bring on people, and they seem to be very well versed in the Bible. I'm sure there's many other people who are well versed in the Bible as well, but it's just that they don't see the benefit of like kind of telling the people about this. Yeah. So I think it's called EDA or EDF, something like that. And they basically bring on a Christian, they discuss the Bible with them. Right. So they're a good channel to listen to, I would say. If anyone knows the channel's name. Okay, right. Let's check out some questions over here then. You haven't qualified or got ijaza yet from cycling. Damn. I knew there was something wrong with my cycling. I was actually thinking of going cycling in the morning with Doc. I was thinking of 7:30 in the morning. Should I get up early and go for cycling? Yeah. And then it was just Doc, and I go, forget that, bro. I mean, where are you from? I am from the UK, Birmingham. Originally, my grandfather came and parents came from Pakistan. Yeah, and in Pakistan, we are from a village called Sawabi, and we are a tribe called Jadoon. And then our tribe originally comes from Afghanistan. And then I don't know after that where everything comes from. Just 1 year cycling. His background is his library. 6 more months, inshallah. That's it, bro. Thoughts on Mufti Taqi Usmani's fatwa on interest? I don't know which one. He's got loads of fatwas. If you can give like a specific one or a link to it or something, that would help. But sometimes when you guys say, for example, what's your thoughts on this guy's statement? Sometimes Mufti Taqi Usmani's got like lots written on different aspects of interest. So it's a bit Do you suggest one to read Hidayah without a teacher? No. Apologies, just clearing some doubts. No problem. Hit the like buttons, guys. Yes, hit the like button. Like, guys. Was reading the Quran in your early days difficult? If so, what tactics did you implement to improve? Reading the Quran, I did kind of find it difficult. The best thing to do was, I think, get a good teacher and just try to read on a daily basis. Yeah, and that's probably one of the best things. Ayah. Oh yeah, so Ayah, they work with Ayah as well. I think some of them work with Ayah as well. My brother-in-law follows Hanafi fiqh. He wipes behind his neck in wudu. What is the reasoning for this? I follow Shafi fiqh and I have never come across. Yeah, so some of the later Hanafis have mentioned the wiping of the neck to be something which is allowed, but the early Hanafis have not mentioned it in their works. And they get it from a narration. It's da'if narration. I don't do it myself, but some Hanafis have opted to take that. EFD Da'wah, that's the one. EFD Da'wah. Check that one out. EFD Da'wah. I've been part of the Western academia. I took in too much of the oranges poison, enough that started to lose love of ibadah. Yeah, definitely. That's what happens, unfortunately. And the thing about Western academia is that it just sounds really good. Like the way they articulate themselves. They kind of, people say, I've heard this a lot. People saying they're a breath of fresh air. They explain things to you in a very, but you have to be very, very careful about that. Good shout. MashaAllah. Habibi, do you think fiat paper is haram? No, but we're all accepting as permissible due to the alternatives. Yeah, fiat paper is allowed. My friend prefers reading Quran on YouTube instead of getting a Quran teacher. Is this a good idea since nobody would correct his recitation? So he can start off with YouTube and then later on get him a teacher online. You can get online teachers. Yeah, you can actually pay people on Skype like £5 an hour or something, or £4 an hour, and to read the Quran. Assalamu alaikum, Qasim. Your Tarqib course on Surah Al-Qasas. How much grammar would you need to study to really benefit from the course? The more you study, the more you're going to benefit. To be able to do Tarqib at that level, I would say you would have to at least have read up to something like maybe, I don't know, maybe Ma'ani Nahu, maybe. Yeah, Ma'ani Nahu of summarized Ma'ani Nahu, maybe Kafia. Definitely Kafia. Jazakallah khair, Zahra. I read the Mufti Usmani said mortgage on first property is allowed, but it seems to be a misunderstanding. Yeah, if you can have the statement. So I don't like making statements on second-hand statements. If you show me and I read it, then I can look at it. Otherwise, if someone says to me, Mufti so-and-so said this, what do you think? I never ever answer those questions because it can always be misleading as well. Like maybe it's misunderstood by the questioner, and then you don't want to say something which is based on a misunderstood question. Is playing PUBG, I don't know what that is. Halal? I don't know what that is. Jazakallah khair for your answer. Ahlan wa sahlan, welcome. Remember, if you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button, guys. Jazakumullah khair. MashaAllah, answered all the questions. Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Is it best to take various areas of knowledge of Deen one after the other? For instance, studying Lugha for a year. Some say that method is good. I know some people who actually say that's the best method, right? And some of my teachers have actually studied it like that. They've studied all of Nahu first, and then they studied all of fiqh, and they studied different sciences. So it can be beneficial, and some people say, and the benefit of that is you become very thorough then. Like you focus so much on the science, you actually become like really well read into science. But the problem with that is if your teacher is ill or if something happens, you actually miss out on a lot. And the other one is by studying multiple sciences at the same time together. The benefit of that is you can actually cover a lot, different things, cover a lot. So yeah, that's the benefit of that. But it doesn't give you like omuk. It doesn't give you depth. Any book review? Do I have any book review today? Yeah, what do I have over here? Do I have anything over here? Let me see. think I've shown you this before. Quranic verse. Yeah, the Quranic verse. Yeah, by Sheikh Dr. Ibrahim Surati. Yeah, so it's a nice small book. It kind of gives you sort of. I mentioned this before to you guys, man. It kind of gives you a nice sort of insight into the science of the Quran, specifically balagha. It touches on a lot of balagha points, but it's not in depth. It's not like covers a whole range of, but it gives you enough to kind of appreciate. So, for example, chapter 1, the general character of the Quranic style. Is it poetry? Why is the Quran not considered poetry? He talks about that. Chapter 2 is what is an ayah? When we say an ayah, how do you differentiate an ayah, a verse, an ayah, from something else? Then the syntactic relations, the construction of the words, integral parts, the themes, how they work in the Quran, parallelism in the Quran, and then emphasis as achieved by structural elements. Yeah, so for example, using certain verb-based sentence, noun-based sentence, inversions, the use of pronouns in the Quran, the use of repetition in the Quran, the use of variation, concise structure, ellipsis method, allusions, word choices. Yeah, so it's about 200 pages or so. Yeah, and it's like really nice read, and it's English as well. And yeah, he brings, the good thing about this book is he brings a range of books that he's used in his bibliography. He's got like a whole range of, because he's a PhD as well, doctor he's got. So he's got that side to it as well. Yeah, so it's a good book to have a look at. How was your mutala in that? Yeah, so basically today I had relatives. I went to my relative's house, and nephews and nieces and all these little kids were there. So they said to me, "You have to have tea with us, and you have to play with us, and you gotta." And it's just a headache. Like you gotta listen to a little kid telling you, "Like, come on, you have to eat this." And so yeah, that was my picture. And then someone, I think my brother took my picture or something and sent it to me. This was your face. This was your mood. I find reading and listening to the audio at the same time very beneficial in Arabic. Excellent. Definitely. I think that's a good point. Definitely. How can I get fiqh in my head properly? When I get asked a fiqh question, I forget everything I've learned. How do I get confident? So what you need to do is, I would say, is you need to start studying fiqh with a teacher. Yeah. So what you can do is, you're doing the Kuduri at the moment, aren't you? So I have Hidayah lessons as well that I do when it's my holidays. So I don't know if you're on that. So if you email, you can get on the Hidayah lessons, the ones that I've done so far. So at the moment I'm not doing them, but I do them when I get my holidays. And we go through a bit. So you start to understand what Hanafi fiqh is about. The main thing is, do not force yourself into having to answer people's questions. You need to get used to telling people, I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. Right? You need to get people used to that. When you start studying with a teacher and asking them to give you questions so that you can answer, and then you show it to them, and then they give you a tips on that, I think that's when you start to become more confident. Yeah, so confidence will come, don't worry about that. But it'll come when you, with a teacher, when you get questions and you do that kind of thing. Okay, and repeat the same book over and over again, definitely. How about your library tour? One day, inshallah. I don't have many books anyway. I think a lot of people think I've got like loads of books. I don't have that many. Where can you buy it from? So I'm not sure exactly. I was actually gifted this. Dr. Ibrahim Surati gifted this to us. But there's an address at the bottom there. If you contact them, yeah. So if you watch this video again and you watch it at this time, I think it's like 1 hour passing. Yeah, you'll see the address right there. That's the address. So if you contact them, maybe they should have copies available. But I got this free from Dr. Ibrahim. A lot of clothing nowadays have pictures of animals and humans. Would it be forgiven if we wear these clothing, as it has become a bit of a difficult to plain clothes? Would Salah be valid? If the images are large, that if a person looks at them from a distance, knows it's an animal, then no, you can't pray in them. But if the image is small, that you can't tell, then it will be allowed. I mean, I don't have a problem buying clothes with no pictures on there. I don't really have an issue. So I don't know, I mean, which part of the world you're in. But in the UK, definitely people don't have a problem buying clothes with pictureless. You're not in Hidayah. Yeah, then do sabr. Don't worry, Alia. Do sabr. Sabr. You got a long time left. Mufti, why did you eat grasshoppers and you're not going to eat grasshoppers out nowhere right now, are you? So I ate grasshoppers because according to the Prophet ﷺ, he said, two dead creatures, meaning two creatures that do not need slaughtering, are halal for you. Fish and locust, grasshoppers. So the Hanafis say that grasshoppers are allowed. So I thought to myself, I got to act upon this hadith. So I bought myself, one of my students bought grasshoppers. Okay. Next. Mufti, would it be okay for to get a skin fade? Haircut, yeah? You're talking about haircut? Yeah. I wouldn't see a problem with that. It's midnight in Bangladesh, please, but still come to Ayah live. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Ahlan wa sahlan. Midnight in Bangladesh. So you guys are 1 hour ahead of us. Or you mean at midnight as in the middle of the night? Shah, assalamu alaikum. What's the title of the book recommendation? The book title is called The Literary Structure of the Quranic Verse. The literary structure of the Quranic verse. Sorry, so grasshopper question was my son. Ahlan wa sahlan. So you understand the question? Answer now. Start is 120 haram or makruh? Is 120 haram? I don't understand. 120. Is 120 haram or makruh? No idea. I don't know. Is that like some sort of a financial business contract or something? NS, Assalamu alaikum. What is your advice for productive daily routines for people who work from home? I would say, yeah, if you're going to work from home, let me tell you what to do. Number one, make yourself like a table or a board where you have your schedule written. Yeah, very, very important to have your schedule written. Number two is make sure you have your breaks and exercise. You have to do exercise and breaks and walk around. Yeah, that's so important. And make sure you keep yourself hydrated, I would say. This is from my personal experience, definitely. When working from home, you are going to get fed up. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to be seeing the same faces. Go outside, do some exercise, meet up with your friends if you can, or Skype them or face call them. Okay, 120, I meant, okay, cocaine. Oh, yeah, so you mean calming, yeah. According to Hanafi, it's not allowed. According to Maliki, it's allowed. Are snails halal to eat? Not according to Hanafi fiqh, no. Would Allah forgive a person for not praying because he or she has too many kids to take care of and provide for? So the thing we have to remember is Allah is forgiving, Allah is Rahim, Allah is Ghafoor. Yeah? If a person asks Allah forgiveness, then Allah is the one that forgives. However, when it comes to prayer, nothing should come in the way of prayer. I mean, a person would definitely 100% have enough time to pray their Fajr, Zuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha in the day. Even if you can't stand, you can pray sitting. Yeah, but you have to pray. There is no excuse for not praying. And, that person has too many kids to take care of, provide for. There's no excuse. You can have toilet breaks. You can have all these other breaks. You can have chill out with your friends and mates. But in the day, you literally, if you work it out, for Fajr, you literally only need about 5 minutes. Zuhr, if you shorten it, you probably can do it between about 8 minutes. Asr about 8 minutes. Maghrib will take you about less than 5 minutes to pray. And if you only have to pray the fard, just pray the fard then, if you think you don't have much time. But you have to pray your salat. Do you eat the grasshoppers raw? So they're basically packed for you. They're pre-packed and they're actually dried. Does fade haircut fall into qaza? No. Qaza, according to Hanafis, is basically shaving your head, all head, and leaving the size of 3 fingers on your head. What's up? There's a necklace that Allah's name on it. Would it be jaiz, you mean, for me to wear? I would say avoid. Person should avoid these kind of things out of respect for Allah's name. Mufti Sahib, in video you said this hadith is weak, but what the hadith is saying is fine. So my question was about the huffaz and their reward. Yeah, so that's why. So the Prophet ﷺ, he definitely encouraged people to read the Quran from memory, and because hardly anyone had copies of the Quran, yeah, reading from the Mus'haf was basically was non-existent at that time. Yeah. So this is why in that time wouldn't make sense. But yeah, later on, I mean, reading from the Mus'haf is a good thing, definitely. Do you have children? No. It's an ingredient code in Australia. Sorry, should have made it clear. He has ASD. He couldn't get over the grasshopper video, but now understands the fiqh. That's it, man. That's it, bro. Assalamu alaikum, Arnaud. Ahla wa sahlan. Sheikh, can you explain the qaida fiqhiyya? Al-insan yuhalu ala tab'ihi ma lam yaqum mani'un. Al-insanu yuhalu ala tab'ihi. If I'm correct, we have a different name for this qaida. Yeah, so basically this qaida is a kind of qaida which refers to generally humans are left to their natural disposition unless the Sharia has told them this thing is wrong. Yeah, so you know what I was saying earlier on, if you were here earlier on, I mentioned that by default everything is considered to be permissible. Walking is allowed, humans do that. Breathing is allowed, standing is allowed, taking a shower is allowed, going to the toilet is allowed, coughing is allowed, spitting is allowed. But if the Sharia tells you something is not allowed, that then is not allowed. Yeah. Did you join the fuel panic buying? No, I didn't. I've actually got, I checked my car. I've got 105 miles left in my car. Yeah, of fuel. 105. Well, don't know what that means. Yeah, sometimes he kind of exaggerates it, but yeah. Mufti Saab, do you have an opinion on Sufi visions and meditation practices? No, I don't. What's Quduri? Quduri is a book, a fiqh book, Hanafi fiqh book. I've made a series on it, so you can check that out. Go to my channel and check out the Quduri, Mukhtasar Quduri series. Father Sunglasses, wa alaikum assalam, ahlan wa sahlan, welcome. If I don't remember a Quranic ayah while quoting to someone, can I say that an ayah like what I say? It would be best to avoid, so you're not inadvertently attributing a lie to Allah. It's best to avoid. In Mecca, there are signs that say to Haram. Why is this name used when Haram? Yeah, because I think basically they should have written down Haram. When we say Haram, there's two A's. So it's just the way that the English people say things. So in Arabic, the word Haram can actually mean sacred, and it can also mean prohibited. Yeah. So that's the confusion. So for example, we call it the Masjid al-Haram because it's a sacred masjid, sanctified. And haram acts are called haram because there's things which Allah has sort of like put a restriction on. Zrex, Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Mufti, will you ever put ketchup or mayonnaise on grasshoppers? It's a good question there. I've never ever thought about that question, honestly. But now you've said it, now I'm definitely going to be thinking about this one. If I don't avoid, will it be a sin or kufr? If you do it deliberately, it'll definitely be a sin, but not necessarily kufr. What forms of tawassul is permissible? So, another one of these tawassul istighatha questions, yeah. Tawassul, I mean, okay, you tell me what tawassul is, and then if you tell me what you understand tawassul is, then I can tell you. Thoughts on Maulana Ridwan Kaji, his talks on vision. I have no idea who this guy is, Ridwan Kaji. Never heard this guy before. But I know Ridwan though. He's not Maulana. Alright, guys. My time is over now, so I'm going to finish there, inshallah. Jazakallah khair, guys, for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button. Yeah, hit the like button. And, oh yeah, I was going to tell you about the bike ride. Yeah, so I'll tell you about the bike ride. So, bike ride, basically, I went on a bike ride from Birmingham to Cheltenham, which is in the Cotswold. So if you ever heard of the Cotswold is like in the UK, right? Down over here, like southeast area down there. That area is called the Cotswold. It's a very nice area, countryside, beautiful area. People go there for like holidays, and it's a nice area to go for hiking and riding bikes. So we basically rode a bike from Birmingham all the way to Cotswold, which is about 53 miles. So we went with a group of guys. We had two groups. Each group had a leader who had a device which shows you navigation, specifically designed for riders and people like that. And each group had a sweeper at the back to take care of anyone who falls behind or something happens. And then each group had about 10 or so people in there. So I was in the first group, which is basically the faster group. And then there's another group who were a slightly slower group. And we went at different paces. And it took us about 5.5 hours to get there. Yeah. We left about, I think it was about 7:30ish, 7:45, 7:30ish. And we got there for about 1:45. Yeah. About 5.5 hours or so. We had a few breaks in the middle. You know, it was really sort of like interesting. I really enjoyed it. We had a big shower of rain in the middle. Yeah, everyone got drenched. The whole body like got drenched, and that becomes very awkward because when you're riding and your body's drenched and your socks are drenched and you have to ride and there's water all over your shades, then it becomes a bit awkward. And alhamdulillah, we had yeah. So then we got there, and the problem was that not everyone is a regular bike rider. So some guys had ridden for the first time in their life. Some guys probably had ridden maybe a few years ago. So everyone's fitness levels were different. So there were some guys who were really good, and there were some guys who were not so fit or so well trained in cycling, because cycling requires you using your thighs a lot, thigh muscles, your quads, and your calves a lot as well. So this is why it is quite taxing on the body. But yeah, alhamdulillah, it was very enjoyable. I would definitely do it again. We did it for charity, and I think if anyone wants to donate, you can still donate on that link that I put up. Yeah, I put that link up a few days ago. And that's it, guys. So jazakumullah khair, and inshallah I will definitely be doing another ride again. Definitely. I found this ride very beneficial because remember I told you guys I actually got a free pair of shoes. Yeah, I don't know if I told you. I went to get my bike fixed last Saturday at my friend's shop, and when he got it fixed, he actually had he said to me, "Have you got a pair of shoes?" I go, "Yeah, but I need to get some more." He goes, "What size are you?" And then I said to him, "I'm size 8." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Actually, someone donated a size 8, and they're like cycling. They're designed for cycling. So basically, they're cycling shoes that have these little sort of like screws at the bottom. And what happens is you have these special pedals, and when you ride, it's your shoe sticks onto that. So when you're cycling, your foot is actually stuck onto the pedal, and it actually helps you to be able to cycle faster. And then when you stop, you have to turn your foot, and then you release the mechanism. So that's the next Maji, that's the next level. Me and you, we're gonna go to the next level. Yeah, we're gonna have those fancy footwork. Yeah, Maji kept calling me Michael Jackson all the way because the shoes I had were like white. Mufti, can we eat cheese from animals that weren't slaughtered properly? Can we eat cheese from animals that weren't? You mean cheese comes out of the milk, doesn't it? What are you talking about? Do you suggest Salih Fawzan? I don't know. Father, وإياك. For witr, I pray 3 rakats, but I heard that you could pray 1 rakat of witr, not according to Hanafis. So if you follow like Shafi fiqh, then 2 rakats and then 1 rakat after that. RK Beg, Ahlan wa Sahlan Rais, Kal Guzari of Super Cycling. Yeah, so what do you mean by wasila? You have to explain because there's so many different interpretations of wasila. Thanks for answering. You're welcome. Mufti Saab is being very generous today with the what are your thoughts on question. Normally he never answers them. Yeah, I think I answered it today because I actually put something up about Imran Hussain. And that's why I thought, you know what, I'll just mention it to you guys. Would you be able to help me with tarkeeb of Surah 40 verse 28? Next time, bro, next time. I bought some funky wine red colored cycling shoes today. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna have to see them, bro. I'm gonna have to see them. Ahlan wa sahlan bizk. Wa alaikum assalam. Is there a valid opinion that says listening to musical instrument is permissible as long as it's nothing rude? I don't know if anyone in the Hanafi fiqh has said it's permissible without a reason, but there are some who actually do mention if there's a specific reason for it, like a ringtone on your phone. Yeah, ringtone on your phone, or something like that. He means Rene from animals not slaughtered. Anyway, guys, I finished there. Take care, inshallah, and hope you guys have a wonderful week. Enjoy yourselves. And oh yeah, update about the university course. So the website link is not working. I'm gonna be emailing them, inshallah, in the next few days, just to see. And I don't know if I've missed out on the admission deadline. If I have missed out on the admission deadline, then that's fine. I mean, inshallah, I'll have to do it next year. I just thought I'd let you guys know. All right, guys, take care, inshallah, and I will see you guys next time. And remember, hit the like button as well. Yeah, and check out all my videos, and check out my website as well. It's called uruk.com. Yeah, uruk.com. Check out social media. Make sure you subscribe to social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. I got my personal account on there, and also got Roots of Knowledge. Yeah, so check it all out, inshallah, and have a wonderful evening. And yeah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.